A blinding flash. A mushroom cloud rising like a pillar of fire, stretching miles into the sky. At its core, temperatures hotter than the surface of the sun. In a single instant, a city is turned into ash, shadows of human beings seared onto walls. This was August 1945, the moment humanity crossed a threshold it could never uncross, the birth of the atomic age. Our story begins not with soldiers, but with scientists. In the early 20th century, physicists were peeling back the secrets of the atom. In 1938, two German scientists, Otto Hahn and Fritz Strassmann, made a startling discovery: nuclear fission. By bombarding uranium with neutrons, they split its nucleus, releasing unimaginable amounts of energy. Albert Einstein, horrified at the thought of Hitler with such a weapon, co-signed a letter to President Franklin Roosevelt. That letter set in motion one of the largest scientific projects in history, the Manhattan Project. Thousands of the world's brightest minds gathered in secret laboratories across America. Names like Robert Oppenheimer, Enrico Fermi, and Richard Feynman became part of this hidden world. They were racing against time, against the Nazis, and against their own doubts about what they were creating. On July 16, 1945, in the desert of New Mexico, the first atomic bomb was detonated in what became known as the Trinity Test. Oppenheimer later recalled a line from Hindu scripture: "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." Less than a month later, two Japanese cities, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, were obliterated. In Hiroshima alone, some 70,000 people died instantly. Tens of thousands more perished in the following weeks from burns and radiation. Survivors, known as hibakusha, lived with scars, cancers, and memories that haunted them for life. The war ended, but a new war was just beginning. The United States had the bomb first, but not for long. In 1949, the Soviet Union tested its own nuclear weapon. What followed was an arms race of terrifying scale. Bombs grew bigger. In 1952, the U.S. tested the first hydrogen bomb, a weapon 1,000 times more powerful than Hiroshima. The Soviets answered with the Tsar Bomba in 1961, the largest nuclear explosion ever, a detonation so strong it shattered windows hundreds of miles away. For decades, humanity lived under the shadow of mutually assured destruction. If one side launched, the other would retaliate, and civilization itself could be wiped out. At the height of the Cold War, there were over 70,000 nuclear weapons on Earth, enough to destroy the planet many times over. There were moments when the world came frighteningly close to nuclear Armageddon. The Cuban Missile Crisis, 1962, U.S. spy planes discovered Soviet nuclear missiles in Cuba. For 13 tense days, the world held its breath as warships, missiles, and leaders stood on the brink. Only back-channel negotiations between John F. Kennedy and Nikita Khrushchev pulled us back. 1983, Soviet Union. A satellite early warning system mistakenly reported incoming U.S. missiles. One man, duty officer Stanislav Petrov, was ordered to confirm the attack. Instead, he hesitated, trusting his instincts that it was a false alarm. He was right, and his decision may have saved the world. While the U.S. and Soviet Union dominated, other nations joined the nuclear club. Britain, France, and China developed weapons in the 1950s and 60s. Later came Israel, India, Pakistan, and eventually North Korea. Each new member added new tensions. The India-Pakistan rivalry, for instance, now carries the constant risk of nuclear escalation. North Korea's tests keep the world guessing. Will they use the bomb as leverage or as a weapon of last resort? The atomic age wasn't just about politics. It changed culture, too. The mushroom cloud became a symbol of both power and fear. Films, novels, and songs reflected the anxiety of living one push of a button away from annihilation. Even everyday life bore traces. School children in the U.S. practiced duck and cover drills. Fallout shelters were stocked with canned food. The doomsday clock, a symbolic measure of our closeness to destruction, ticked ever closer to midnight. Yet amid the fear, there were efforts to step back from the brink. Treaties like the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, NPT, of 1968 sought to limit the spread of nuclear weapons. The Strategic Arms Reduction Treaties, START, cut stockpiles between the US and Soviet Union. Symbolic moments gave hope too. In 1986, US President Ronald Reagan and Soviet leader Mikhail Gorbachev met in Reykjavik, Iceland, and even discussed eliminating nuclear weapons altogether, though the talks broke down. Still, it showed that leaders understood the stakes. Decades after Hiroshima, nuclear weapons still shape our world. There are fewer warheads than at the Cold War's peak, but still around 12,000 nuclear weapons remain. Just a fraction of them, if unleashed, could trigger a nuclear winter, blocking sunlight, collapsing agriculture, and starving billions. And as technology advances, cyber warfare, hypersonic missiles, artificial intelligence, the dangers evolve. What if an accident, a miscalculation, or even a computer glitch sets the chain reaction in motion? The atomic age began with the belief that splitting the atom could change the world, and it did, unlocking both unimaginable destruction and profound responsibility. Today, survivors of Hiroshima and Nagasaki still tell their stories. They remind us that behind the politics and technology, nuclear weapons are not abstractions. They are human tragedies waiting to happen. As we stand in the 21st century, the mushroom cloud remains a shadow over humanity, a reminder of both our greatest scientific triumph and our most terrifying invention. The question is no longer whether we can control the atom. It's whether we can control ourselves.